Hello everyone, this is Javier Cisneros and I'm the research video on euthanasia. Many of you might not know the definition of euthanasia, so I have it here for you. Euthanasia, also known as an easy death, means the practice of intentional ending a life in order to relieve pain and suffering of a patient. Euthanasia exists in four categories: active euthanasia, passive euthanasia, voluntary, and involuntary. Active euthanasia consists of an outside force actually causing the death of a patient, or hastening the death with the use of drugs and other tools. Basically, what this means is the speeding up process of a death of a patient. Passive euthanasia is the act of removing all treatment and force of life support intended to prolong life or cure illness and allowing the patient to die by natural causes. When the patient is fully capable of making their own life or death decision, is considered voluntary euthanasia. In difference, if the decision is made for the patient due to them being incapable of consent, it is known as involuntary euthanasia. Since 2009, voluntary euthanasia has been legalized in Belgium, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Switzerland, and the states of Oregon and Washington. With the sentence of 14 years in prison for the libraries in several states, for several decades, euthanasia has been a controversial topic given by all the religious, moral, and ethical issues. This has given negative effects in the population over the acceptation and legalization of euthanasia. Euthanasia should be legalized everywhere because I know it's a personal choice. Every person should have the right to choose if they want to die. We have the right to live our lives and determine our own courses. Without death, without human life by its very definition, the person as a patient has the maximum right in the choice of medical decisions concerning them. According to a local research survey I performed in Laguna Hills, California, 50% of the participants in interview think that euthanasia should be legalized in all the United States. In other words, euthanasia is not about the right to commit suicide, it's about the right to die on your own terms. Euthanasia is about changing the law and public policy, so doctors or relatives can directly end another person's life. If a loved pet has intractable suffering, we put it down. It's the most humane thing to do. Every person should have a say in their own destiny. Who are we to deny them the right to end their suffering? We tend to regard death as a bad thing for one or more of the following reasons. Number 1. Because a human life is valuable. Number 2. Because life and death is God's business, in which we shouldn't interfere because most people don't want to die. Number 3. Because it violates our anatomy in a drastic way. The reason why that is a bad thing is not absolute. If a person wants to die, then neither of those reasons can be used to say that it will be wrong to undergo euthanasia. Most people misinterpret the Hippocratic Oath against euthanasia. The oath says that the physician must protect the well-being of the patient, other words, to not do harm. Many people interpret the harm as a well-being of the patient, that includes his life. However, there are cases in which a decision between intense suffering or death, and the physician argues that he's doing more harm to the patient by not allowing them to die. There are many forms of organizations and societies that are non-profit organizations that further talk about the issues such as the Final Election Network in the United States. We live in a world where freedom is a natural born right. We have the freedom to do as we wish with no restrictions, yet we have subjected ourselves to a life of suffering due to the restricted nature of a laws that impede upon our natural God-given rights. To decide upon our fate, we must come to our senses and have a more merciful disposition on the subject of self-euthanasia. At the end of the day, it's your decision, whether or not to legalize euthanasia in our nation. Thank you so much for taking the time of watching my video. I hope you learned one or more stuff about euthanasia. I hope we see you soon. Bye bye!
And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long